Breaking today, the House Oversight Committee announcing two blockbuster hearings on the Minnesota fraud scandal. State lawmakers who raised red flags years ago will testify on January 7th. A second hearing on February 10th could put Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison under oath. Chairman James Comer accusing both men of, quote, either being asleep at the wheel or complicit in the alleged schemes that drained taxpayer dollars from social services programs. Governor Walz's office fired back this morning, saying, quote, we're always happy to work with Congress, though this committee has a track record of holding circus hearings that have nothing to do with the issue at hand. President Trump, meanwhile, chiming in today as well, calling Walz a, quote, crooked governor. Lisa Booth, this is a man that was within an inch of being, what, the vice president of the United States? This is Tim Walz. And the fact that he's deflecting and pushing back and blaming President Trump, and this is all political, to me rings very hollow.
Well, yeah, can you imagine that Kamala Harris wasn't the worst part of the Democrats' 2001? Someone who blew past $1.5 billion in like 107 days to lose all 7 swing states, and somehow Tim Walz is the worst. I think he's worried about what investigators, both in Congress and federal investigators, are going to uncover about all this, of what Minnesota officials allowed to happen in their state, particularly Keith Ellison, who had a meeting with some of these fraudsters back in 2021. But I just want to make a broader note about immigration at large. I mean, President Trump in 2015 made the statement that other countries weren't sending their best. I mean, hello, this isn't an indictment of the entire Somali community, but we know that they played a large part in Minneapolis and Minnesota in all of this fraud. Or you can even look at someone like Congressman Ilhan Omar, who we took in with open arms, who was a refugee and settled here into the United States. And then about 9/11, she brushes it off and says some people did something, or has called America, one of the worst countries, or her net worth, according to the New York Post, mysteriously, grew exponentially. But this is also beyond Minnesota as well. I mean, even if you look at the COVID era funding, tens of billions of dollars were stolen in fraud. Or you can look at some of these, daycare and related programs in other states. We know millions of dollars were raided there as well. Yet Elon Musk was run out of Washington, D.C. for DOGE, for trying to address some of these issues. And Republicans were attacked for trying to get some reforms built in with the big, beautiful bill.
Well, Paul, the question is now, where do we go from here? It's looking like, according to James Comer, from what we've heard this morning from his committee, it's going to be at the federal level. I had Senator Ron Johnson on Sunday Morning Futures, and he told me, he said, I've got subpoena power. He said, I am absolutely going to use that power to get to the bottom of this, because do you really think that officials in Minnesota, the governor's office in Minnesota, is going to do anything about this? I mean, but listen to Caroline Leavitt, press secretary. She was on Fox and Friends this morning. Listen to what she said about what they plan to do about the fraud.
Since Nick Shirley's journalism really brought this issue further to light, we have surged resources across the board to the state. So I want your audience to understand this is a top priority for the administration. The Department of Justice, as we speak, is continuing to execute search warrants and subpoenas. People will be in handcuffs as a result of the fraud that Governor Walz has allowed to occur for many, many years.
Criminality, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, look. It's funny, Walz now is saying, no, I've been on this, I've been enforcing, I've been all over this case. He's either complacent or complicit. There's no middle ground here, because Shirley went out and in one day found over $100 million in fraud. Leering Center, you couldn't see that much? I mean, come on, so what kind of an investigation was that? I want to go in a slightly different direction. Now, look, there's going to be hearings, they'll refer some cases. At the end of the day, they'll lock up some low-hanging fruit. We won't get the money back, and that'll be the end of it. Here's the hidden metric we have. Treasury. Here's why. Treasury under FinCEN is the entity that controls and enforces the movement of money, like Western Union, MoneyGram, all of those things, but also the banks. None of this could have happened without a complicit money services bureau industry moving this money around to all the bad guys, but also overseas, which is what we're worried about. Why does that matter? Because not only do they have the ability to refer criminality to DOJ, they can button it up in a box and hand it to them, but they have the compliance power. Yeah. They can hit a bank, you know this, they hit a bank with a $1 billion fund. Why does that matter? Because if you start to do that, they'll stop. That's the only way to stop this thing. We know it's still going on. They'll hide under rocks. They'll figure a way around all measures. But if you stop the interlocutor, if you stop the middleman, This will finally go away. That's what you got to do. As the saying goes, follow the money.
We're talking $9 billion, tip of the iceberg, Nicole. But I want to ask you about the FBI's role in this, because one former FBI agent said that the Medicaid fraud prevention fix that they're talking about here will not make any difference moving forward. You know, we can talk about money that's gone. I don't know if we get it back in a clawback like Paul is talking about, but how do you stop this from happening in the future?
And that's the important question. And I have to agree with that former FBI agent. I read the article this morning and I thought, you know what, he's actually right. And it's a little concerning. But again, I think it comes back to, you know, having worked in the FBI and seeing the fraud. I know this is alarming to Americans right now, but to me, I am sadly not shocked. In FBI Miami alone, we had 3 healthcare frauds. We were #1 in the country for healthcare fraud, stealing money from the government, basically. It is a nonstop effort. But again, look at everything that DOJ and FBI are faced with right now. Foreign terrorist organization groups, you know, fraud, mass shootings, you know, the violent crime. They are working tirelessly. But again, the important part to note is that there is no doubt in my mind. I know he mentioned the low-hanging fruit will be arrested. I hope that it's a lot more than just the low-hanging fruit. And I can tell you that there's a lot of tenacity at the FBI and DOJ about this right now. But these are complex investigations. They take a long time to work. I worked the first 4 years of my career was white collar. I mean, some of these investigations take over a year or more. Subpoenaing bank records, scheduling all the bank records, having your forensic accountant go through everything. Always follow the money. The bank records do not lie. And I sure know and hope that there will be accountability. I trust Caroline Leavitt when she says that there will be handcuffs. And again, you have to understand, DOJ was aware of some of this. There were former prosecutors involved under the Biden administration that turned a blind eye to this. They did not want to work these investigations because it did not fit the political narrative.
Of course, because Tim Walz was going to be the next vice president of the United States. But Tiffany, in Washington State, the attorney general there is already using this as a political tool and saying, don't you dare come to Washington State and look into our daycare centers. You might as well raise your hand and say, come on in and investigate me.
Right. It's like where there's smoke, there's fire. What's going on? Like, thanks for alerting us.
Weird how that happened.
Yeah. I mean, shocking. It's not just Minnesota. It's all over the country. It's California. It's Washington State, where our attorney general is defending the Somali community when there are allegations of fraud. It's interesting because 10% of the licensed child care facilities that are eligible for these subsidies are Somali run. And the overall state population is 0.2% are Somali. So many of these buildings also have no address. They cannot even provide an address. You know, whether it's in D.C. and you know, HUD just released their findings that they found billions of dollars went to 30,000 dead people. I mean, I was a fan of Elon and Doge. I defended them from day one because we needed political outsiders. We needed business people to come in. That's the only way this gets fixed.
Bring them back.
President Trump's leadership.
Bring them all back. That's what I say. Come on, Elon. We need you.
Yes, let's go.
All right.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.